What's going on, everybody? My name is Jake, and welcome to UFC Vegas 115 recap. Pretty good card. You know, we keep it going. Profitable on all the Vegas cards so far. Here's the update ROI. We get back on the winning track after my worst card of the year at UFC Seattle. Pretty decent card for the betting side. Got saved, not gonna lie, by some really good reads and really long shot odds that we'll get into. As far as the pure picks went, I went 8-5, man. I'm really mid as fuck these last couple weeks. I went 7-5-1 or 8-4-1 at UFC Seattle, 8-5 this week. So as far as like picking who I think is going to win and lose, not been good. You know, there was some that I was kind of 50-50 on. You know, I really wanted to pick Hanato Moicano because I love him, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I thought he was on the downslide. Chris Duncan's on the upswing. And he showed levels. You know, Rafael Estevan, man, like, I'm all aboard the Ethan Ewing hype train now. Like, don't get it twisted. This dude is fucking good. Obviously, we'll get into it. And he hit my biggest value bet I've hit all year so far. Him by knockout TKO in round 3 plus 1,500. That was a super good hit for me. Really made my night, really. And some really entertaining fights, man. Like, and I've been saying, like, everybody shits on the Apex and, you know, this card in particular. I had somebody that I'm friends with that I talk about UFC all the time, and he was saying how this card is trash, whatever. And I'm like, okay, you're not wrong. Name value, I get, has merit. But I'm like, dude, I want to see good fights. We've seen times before these big names, Taliesin Teixeira and Tai Tuivasa, big names. Sometimes they put on some of the most shit fights. I know not always the case. And you know, at the end of the day, the guys that are at the top echelon of the game, have the bigger names and usually put on the better fights. I get that, but man, these Apex cards, you got some guys fighting for their jobs. You got some guys making their debuts, looking to make a statement. You can get some really entertaining fights out of these Apex cards. It's a smaller cage too, so you're more likely to see violence and finishes. So I'm always excited for these Apex cards, and I got a special, you know, love for them now because the first 3 so far this year have been some of my most profitable cards. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the recap. I'm going to run through some of these pretty quick. So basically, we'll do the recap. I'm only going to be able to put out the pick show this week because I'm going to be in Charleston starting. We leave Wednesday night, maybe early Thursday morning, but I'm going to be gone out of town all weekend visiting some friends. So I'll be in Charleston, so won't be home. So hoping to get this out tomorrow, Monday, and then record the picks for UFC 327. And get that out by Wednesday. So let's go ahead and start running through some of these. Kai Kamaka and Dakota Hope. This was an awesome fight to start. Really good back and forth. Kai Kamaka gets it done by decision, cashing us on both fronts, starting off the card with a bang for us. Good fight. I was a little surprised it went to split decision. I thought Kai Kamaka clearly won rounds 2 and 3, but I know Dakota Hope got a takedown at the end of one of those. I can't remember off the top of my head which one, but yeah, I mean, both these guys, you know, Kai Kamaka has got a fucking chin because he was taking some shots from Dakota Hope, and I think Dakota Hope's cardio just kind of failed him towards the end there. Seemed like he really started to slow down after round 1, but I think he's solid. I hope he sticks around the UFC, give him a couple more fights, see what he can do. But, you know, Kai Kamaka, the reason I favored him is just because of the experience. You know, this is his second run in the UFC. He gets it done by split decision. This was a super entertaining fight to start off the card, and obviously from a betting perspective, one that was really good for us. So got things started well. Deone Barbosa and Melissa Gatto, man, this was a weird fight. I thought for sure they were going to end it by disqualification, you know, because she kicked Gatto and it like hit her kind of in the collarbone area. Gatto looked like she was knocked out cold, and Bisping was on the broadcast saying like the fight is over, whatever. It was a fucking vicious kick. Like the sound of it was nasty, and you know, when you look at the replay, it kind of looked like her knee was slightly off the ground. So you know, wherever you stand on that, at the end of the day, the ref only docks Barbosa a point. She ends up winning the first and third rounds anyway. She looked really good in this fight. Hit our Barbosa money line. Unfortunately, Gato lost. It was 28-28 and then 29-27 on the other two scorecards. So unfortunately, she lost by 4 points. So wasn't able to hit the spread. But I had it parlayed with Haley Cowan, which we'll get into shortly. And Haley Cowan got knocked the fuck out anyway, so it didn't really matter. So I had those two spreads parlayed together. Both of them bricked. But Deone Barbosa, this was one of those coin flip fights that I thought about pick swapping because, Gato is a pretty popular dog pick. And, with these coin flip women's MMA fights, sometimes it's logical just to take the dog shot. But happy I stuck with Barbosa. She looked really good in this fight. Azamat Bakoyev is on the do not ever bet again list. He's banned indefinitely. I'm fucking kicking myself. I did not take Tresean Gore because, he looked all right on the feet. He was stinging Bakoyev with some big shots, but I was thinking Tresean Gore's best path, if not only path, was to get him in one of those guillotines and he's going to pop Bakoyev's head off. And sure enough, what does he do? Puts him to sleep in the third round. By his submission with a guillotine. I'm kicking myself. It was plus 900. I had a plus 1600 bonus bet on fucking Manolo Zucchini to win by knockout. I could have used that for Tresean Gore sub. I was mainly doing the Zucchini one because the value is plus 1600. I'm kicking myself. That's a plus 900 hit that I missed out on. But I thought Bakova was going to get him out of there in the second round. It would have cashed the under 1.5. Bakova knockout, or decision parlay piece. We were right fucking there to cash on all fronts. Credit to Gore. He survives, turns it around. Bakova is a serial gasser. And sure enough, what did he do? He gassed out and got fucking finished. He was tired. He was getting hit on the feet. Shot a sloppy takedown and gets his neck taken and choked out. So Tresean Gore, he was the second or third, or not second or third, like third or fourth biggest underdog on the card, and he wins. So I'll give him credit. He came into the UFC, 3-0, and he's had to basically learn on the job. But man, I was like, dude, this guy made Rodolfo Vieira look like a world-class kickboxer. I know Bakoyev is clearly a prospect that his stock has gone way down now, especially after this. But man, I thought he'd be able to run through him. Completely wrong on my end. I'm kicking myself for not playing the plus 900 Tresean Gore sub, but it is what it is, like I said. And the intro to this, I hit 2 plays later in the card that were very, very beneficial for me. So good for Tresean Gore. Bakoyev, he's on the banned bet list. So Alice Pereira and Haley Cowan, another coin flip fight that I didn't switch my side on. I stuck with Alice Pereira. I did not think she would get a knockout. Nope. But man, that knee in the second round, that was fucking vicious right at the end of it. Haley Cowan was annoying. Some of these women's fighters do this where they fucking go ha 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 when they strike. Like they scream basically, and it's just like, shut up. She was annoying the fuck out of me. But Alice Pereira, I know that's like a really niche thing to be pissed off about, but Alice Pereira looked good in the first round, won it, got taken down in the second, got back to her feet, which I was impressed with. I thought Cowan was just going to smother her for the whole round and there'd be 1-1 going into the third, but she gets back to her feet and then lands a flush knee right to the jaw of Haley Cowan, knocks her out cold. And, first win in the UFC. Her post-fight shit that she was saying, how she wants to fight for the BMF and, she wants to set all the records. Brother, you lost to Monte Rendon and your one UFC win is Haley Cowan. I know you're 20 years old. I know there's a ton of time and opportunities to improve, but let's lower our role here and set some more realistic standards. I'm not going to hate on someone for dreaming big, but man, sometimes things are better off not being said. Just keep your intrusive thoughts in your head. But anyway, we hit the Pereira money line. Like I said, I had Cowan and Gato spread parlay together. Both of those missed. It is what it is. But Alice Pereira gets her first UFC win by knockout. And Lando Venata, I deserve this for being confident in a guy who hasn't fought in 3 years. He was looking good for the first 3.5 minutes of the first round. And then something happened. Darius Flowers obviously had the slam on him. And it must have fucked something up in his neck or something. I don't know. But In the second round, when he got that trip takedown, you saw the same reaction. Like Venata like winces and grabs something like behind him. So I'm wondering like if he maybe fucked up like a nerve or something. But Darius Flowers gets his first UFC victory. It was by knockout, and I did have the plus 300 Darius or plus 350 Darius Flowers knockout bonus bet. So I honestly made more money from this fight than I would have off of Lando Venata winning, or I might have like cut even. So I covered my ass there, and that's what I get for trusting in a guy who's 34 and hadn't fought in the UFC in 3 years. So yeah, he should probably just call it good. I know he was kind of done with fighting and then maybe reignited his love for it. He should probably just call it good. But Darius Flowers, he gets his first UFC win by knockout. No idea what to do with him, honestly. But it was a pretty entertaining fight. Like I said, I mean, we talk about these fights. The first 5 that we've talked about so far ended by finish or were entertaining and nearly ended by finish. So, and then the next fight here was another finish. Alessandro Costa, this was like my second or third most confident pick, and he looked really good. Perfect liver shot, little check hook right to the liver. Sits down Stuart Nickel, and then a couple ground and pound shots gets it done. Cash on all fronts here. Costa money line parlay piece. Costa spread that I said in my picks video I was going to wait till the odds came out to see what they were, and I was able to get him alt spread down or up to minus 5.5 to get to minus 150. So we got the spread pick there, him to win by knockout plus 200, and then him to win by finish minus 120. So Alessandro Costa, nice little cash cow for me here. Mini Diego Lopez gets it done. Stuart Nickel, I saw this. I love this matchup for him. Put him against Luis Garul. They both have yet to win in the UFC. Winner stays, loser gets cut. Alessandro Costa, hopefully he can use this to build. Obviously, he lost as a big favorite to Alden Correa in his last fight. Now that's all of a sudden aging better, so hopefully he's going to, parlay this to a nice little win streak. And then this next fight, I honestly watched like 30 seconds of it. Like I said, I was out of town this weekend, back home for one of my best friend's engagement parties. And I was watching some of these fights, and then this fight came on. My only bet on this was Guilherme Pat money line, so didn't really have hardly any stakes on it, so I didn't really care. So I didn't watch much of it. From what I saw, people were saying that Peterson won the first round, Guilherme Pat won the second, and then Peterson basically just like blob maxed him and got the take down some ground and pound on his way to a decision. So don't really have a breakdown of this fight because I hardly watched it. This was the fight on the card along with some of those women's fights where I had the least amount of stakes on, so wasn't really too upset with missing this. Peter Griffin, Thomas Peterson gets the win. I don't really have much to say about that. I was completely wrong in thinking Guilherme Pat would be the better athlete and outstrike him. It seems like especially the third round, he got dominated with some takedowns. And this is another fight, which is a shame because Delano was my second most confident pick when I put that video out. But again, just was busy catching up with some friends and had some stuff going on, so I wasn't able to watch this as much as I would have liked to. I heard about the fence grab. I'm going to have to go back and watch the fight because I didn't see it, but I was checking in bits and pieces on the fight. We had Delano money line, Delano by decision, Delano KO, TKO or decision, and Delano spread. All of those hit. So, him and Alessandro Costa were nice breadwinners for me. And again, we had those and a couple of those big value plays that really saved my ass on this card because I had some bad reads on some of these other fights. But Delano, again, I didn't watch most of the fight. I saw bits and pieces of it. It looked like he was piecing up Ruchala. And then apparently Ruchala had a major fence grab that deducted him a point. Where the fuck was this in the Tafik Masayev Ignacio Bojamondes fight? I don't know, but I'll have to go back and watch it. But he won 30-26 and then 29-27 on the other two scorecards. So without the point deduction, the spread would not have hit. So thankfully he grabbed the fence, but. Delano, again, I'll have to go back and watch the fight to have a more concrete opinion, but like I said, he's a prospect I'm pretty high on coming into UFC. I think he can rise up through the rankings pretty quickly. So we'll see where he goes from here. But like I said, I'll have to go back and watch more of that fight. But he cashed on all fronts for us, so let's go. Tommy McMillan and Manalo Zucchini. I thought he was going to take him down and submit him, and he went out there and brawled. Credit to him, he got the knockout, but this dude gets fucking hit, man. I'm telling you, he's going to get knocked out in the UFC. He's a fun personality. You know, he's an emo version of Sean O'Malley. And, you know, he's clearly got heart. I'll give him that. He's got fucking heart. In his Contender Series fight, he got dropped, almost got submitted, and he fought back and won decision. Same thing. I mean, he wasn't really ever dropped or, like, you know, hurt badly against Zucchini, but, I mean, he was getting hit, and he was just staying in the pocket, delivering big blows, finds the knockout, you know, had the under 1.5 and McMillan to win in round 1 and the round 1 or 2 parlay piece, but unfortunately I had him to win by sub in round 1 or 2 and a couple other plays, so I didn't cash on all fronts here. I got this and the other giant prospect favorite. The results flip-flopped. I had McMillan by sub, he ends up winning by knockout, and I had Yakiev by knockout, he ends up winning by sub. So if I didn't have those backwards, I would have really made out well with these prospect fights, but McMillan wins in round 1, which was the most important thing for me. Again, I still think he's going to get knocked out in the UFC at some point, but hey, he went out there and did what he should have done as a minus 1,400 favorite. Finish the guy you're facing in the first round. Even if it's a can facing in his debut, I'll give him credit. He did what he was supposed to do. Here's a fight I was the most wrong on, but I also had my smartest bet on. Ethan Ewing and Rafael Estevam. Ewing gets the KO in the 3rd round. I honestly was not able to watch much of this fight either. I was completely wrong. Terrible read for me, thinking Estevam was going to be able to look better cardio-wise at bantamweight, get the takedowns better. Ethan Ewing is a legit prospect, man, and now it's like his last 2 fights, undefeated, was Wellmaker undefeated? I don't even know, but Wellmaker, super hyped prospect, absolutely, you know, easily beats him by decision. Undefeated Rafael Estevam, new weight class, has beaten guys like Charles Johnson, you know, ranked fighters in the UFC, and he absolutely dusts him, gets to finish in the 3rd round. I'm on the Ethan Ewing hype train. I apologize to him. Obviously, he's probably not watching this, but I apologize to him. I was off it this week. I promise you this is going to be the last time unless you fight like Merab Dvalishvili tomorrow. You know, this is going to be the last time I'm off your hype train. So I'm on the board for Ethan Ewing. The boxing is so good. The takedown defense is good. You know, he said in his post-fight interview he's got a wrestling base. This dude's got a fucking giant melon. I mean, people are calling him Lord Farquaad. He's got a chin. He's going to be fun to watch. Probably the last time I'm ever going to fade him. So I'll take my L on that, take it right on the chin. But thank you for cashing me plus 1,500. I'll put that ticket right here so I'm not fucking scamming y'all. Plus 1,500. I know my stakes aren't very big. Somebody out there's probably put $500 on this and won 75,000 or something like that. But there's the ticket. I did place it. I trust you. I'm not a scammer. I don't know how I could be a scammer. I'm not selling you a service, but yeah, Ethan Ewing. I was wrong with the pick, but I hit a nice bet there. So thank you for that, and I am on board the Ethan Ewing train. Professor Finesser. I'm a fan. Abdul Rahman Yakiev and Brendan Ribeiro. Yakiev honestly looked kind of shitty on the feet, but he eventually gets the takedown and subs Brendan Ribeiro. Most importantly for me, I need him to win in round 1. That was what I needed most, just for parlay pieces, because there was just not much value here. I mean, Yakiev by knockout in round 1 was plus money, but he gets the sub. I think the striking was a little bit concerning, but you know, so I'd be hesitant to rush him up the rankings. But clearly a great athlete. I need to be quick because I'm running out of battery. Yeah, he gets the submission. Fortunately, didn't hit the under half round by 22 seconds, but it is what it is. Not a ton of value on this, so I didn't have too much on this fight. But yeah, he did, again, like I said about Tommy McMillan, he did what he's supposed to do as a massive favorite, went out there and made it look easy. John DeRoba wins by decision, 30-27 across the board, I believe. And I was right. I thought she was going to be way stronger. The takedowns were going to be there. I thought Ricci was overrated. I think, honestly, her looks had to play into that. I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, more marketable for the UFC, but Jandiroba is just the way better fighter, especially, in her specialist, her base with the grappling. I thought she was being a maul Ricci, and that was the case here. Jandiroba moneyline and her to win by decision both hit. In the main event, Money Moicano. I'm sorry for doubting you, brother. He gets it done against Chris Duncan. Money Moicano sub in round 1 or 2 plus 550. That's another good hit with the bonus bet. Fight to not go the distance was a big one for me too. Parlay piece. Unfortunately, did not hit the over 2.5 rounds. Chris Duncan by finish was obviously a miss, but Moicano gets it done and shows levels. All right, had to make a cut because my camera was about to die. Got a little more recharge, so apologize. Like I said, I had a lot of traveling this weekend, so maybe it wasn't as prepared as I would like to be. But I just wanted to have a more thorough breakdown of the final fight and have a longer outro rather than the rush one that I had. So I'll cut this in. But yeah, Money Moicano shows levels with the grappling. I mean, he was dominating the first round before finding the finish in the second. Really, really stoked he got it in the second round to cash there for us. But like I said, I really was anticipating this fight to end by finish. Thought it would last a little bit longer. Not really mad at that. But yeah, I mean, Money Moicano, I thought he was on a downtrend, and especially when I said if you can't finish big Beneil Dariush in 2025 or the big 2-6, whoever's fighting him, Quillen Salkiel, is he going to get fraud checked even into victory if he doesn't knock out Beneil Dariush? I could see people going there, but Moicano shows he's still got it. Chris Duncan, I mean, I think he could be ranked at some point, but your best asset is being tough and being durable, and being in wars can only get you so far. As far as the skills, it was clearly on the side of Moicano, and I really hope they give him Paddy Pimblett, man. I mean, easy money, come on. But marketability-wise, that fight would do crazy. Everyone would want to watch that fight. The build-up would be insane. The press conference would be awesome. Put it as a numbered card, featured bout, or even a co-main, honestly. Like, I know numbered card co-mains usually are for titles, but not always. I mean, 326 didn't have there was not even an official title in 326. But yeah, get Money Moicano against Paddy Pimblett or run it back with Brian Ortega. They said they had bad blood. Who knows what that is? But yeah, I love Money Moicano. So even though I picked against him, I'm glad to be wrong in that case. So now that'll do it for that. As I was saying, I'm going to put this in. I'll trim the last video. And this will be my official outro. I'm not going to be able to get a betting breakdown out because of my traveling schedule this week. So I'll do the official picks probably on Wednesday. And again, usually those picks kind of insinuate what I'm going to bet on. But I won't be able to put a betting video out. We'll do a recap hopefully Sunday. I'm not sure when I'm going to be getting back home yet. But hopefully Sunday I can do a recap. But I'm excited for 327. Unfortunately, Tyra and Van off the books now because of Van's injury. Yeah, Van's injury, but it's just going to 328. So glad to see that get rebooked for a fairly quick turnaround. I wonder if they're just going to move one of the other, main card bouts up to the co-main because, again, it's very short notice. But glad to see it got rebooked. Obviously sucks. It kind of takes some of the luster away from it, but now it builds 328 a little bit more. But super excited for 327. Should be really fun. The main event should be violence personified, so we'll see. And there's a lot of other good fights on the card, so really, really excited for it. I hope you guys are too. Hope you guys did well betting this weekend. I'm glad we got back on the winning track. The Vegas cards, the Apex, baby, has been nice to me. So hopefully, last numbered event was profitable. Hopefully make that 2 in a row for the numbered events. But anyway, that'll do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll have my picks out later this week. And again, I'll be traveling over the weekend, so I hope everyone has a great week. Enjoy the fights, numbered event this weekend. And I'll see you guys next week when we do our recap. Goodbye.